Is we're having this November edition of Guest of Honor Tech Talk series. It's a monthly event that brings together special guests who have successfully transitioned from academia to industry or launched their own startups around the world. So they share their personal stories, lessons learned, and real-world strategies for navigating career shift. Along with your tailored questions that you submitted, we will try to answer them. So this month, we're very honored to have Nurlybek Mursali. He's a Stanford PhD, founder of and CEO of Biodock, Y Combinator alumni, and also backed up with Andreessen Horowitz. So today we will, later I will again properly introduce Nurlybek, but before starting, I just want to do a short introduction about our association, any announcements that we have so far, and later I will give the mic to Nurlybek. So we have people joining. So yeah, so here we go. If we have a couple minutes, 5 minutes maybe, you can grab your tea or coffee and use this time before we start. So we are Kazakh International Science and Technology Association. Again, Ramzan, my name is Ramzan, global admin for doing this for more than 10 years. We're a global professional community uniting Eurasian scientists around the world and trying to collaborate, innovate, and mentor next generation of scientific leaders. So we've been, our association has more than, now it's almost 250 plus members, including PhD, postdoc professors, and also people that working in industry, R&D professionals, has united from 2014, when I've been in Beijing, I've been doing this, and very dynamic and welcoming community from more than 30 countries. And as you can see, here's the distribution of our members. And we have, and on the right side, you can see the career stage distribution. So we have 42 established professors, 31 postdocs, 62 PhDs, and industry people. So as you can see on this slide, this is our professors network, working in Europe, working in the United States, North America, working in Asia and Middle East. And we have continuous networking with these professors, organizing separate events for them, and try to understand what's their questions and what's they interested most. And so after establishing these contacts, we're trying to bring these established professors, people from industry, to deliver a talk. So we have this Guest of Honor Tech Talk series, where people from industry, from startups, that most of them has PhDs, but later they decided to transfer to industry. So we're inviting them. Beside all this, we have Guest of Honor seminar series that's established professors, assistant, associate, and full professors working in different parts of the world. We're inviting them, and they're sharing what kind of opportunities they have, maybe some positions. And we found this very helpful for our audience. So quickly about us, our association governed by board of members, so half of them in abroad, in Japan, Germany, and half of them in Kazakhstan. So our president of the association is Sergey Mirmanov, vice president of Russo-American Asia Pacific University. My name is Ramzan. I'm here in Germany. So Juan Shiraliyev in Nazarbayev University, Janara Rambayeva from Narcos University, and financial director Elmira Tauletova. And other than that, we also have these global ambassadors, as you can see, different countries, the people that you can contact and get in touch with them in order to form this small community in your area. And what we are trying to do here in Kazakh International Science and Technology Association for more than 10 years is transfer brain drains that happen in Kazakhstan to brain flow. So we're trying to unite this global scientific diaspora of Kazakhstani scientists and somehow help each other that we work in different countries. And second part, try to somehow also provide our help to scientists in Kazakhstan. So this is our idea and mission. So last month, I have been delivering this idea in Astana TED Talk, what we're trying to do to establish global scientific diaspora of Kazakhstani scientists. And vision is, so we're using this, our platform, as I said, to build global professional network of Kazakhstani scientists, and through different seminars, conferences, and global networking opportunities. So far, over 10 years, we organized now it's 70 plus events. We supported our audience to securing PhD positions, scholarship, fellowship opportunities. Just recently had announcement that one of our fellows won Takeda Science Fellowship for 2 years of fully covered scholarship. That you do your research fellowship in any research institution in Japan. We've been very happy. Later we will do official announcement. So, and over the years we have pretty good attendance of more than 1,000 Kazakhstani people around the world, not only in Kazakhstan. And we established this connection with now it's more than 50 Kazakhstani professors around the world. So what we organized, as I said, it's a great guest of honor seminar series. As you can see here, Shuhrat Mutalipov, Dana Mulbaeva from King's College, Kazuhito Shimada, he's a doctor of Japanese astronauts, and guest of honor TechTalk series. Previously, we have Ilyas Ribulaev and Alex Tang explaining how scientists can think beyond the lab, applying this venture mindset, and exactly what we have today with Nurlybek. And another one is panel discussion. So 2 years ago, it was really bad flood in Kazakhstan. So we thought how we can actually help to provide expertise. So we invited experts from Netherlands and our Kazakhstani scientists that working in different countries and try to provide some expertise so local administration in Kazakhstan can watch this and use some strategies from that. And last, as I said, we collaborating with fellowship and grant support organizations. And previously, we organized events. How can you secure research grant in Kazakhstan as being abroad as a PhD or postdoc? And as well, we invited Takeda Science Foundation, where they shared the opportunity of getting this amazing opportunity of one of the 10 candidates doing a fellowship in Japan. And so this is the previous, so what I talked about. So what we're trying to do, as I said, first, we want to support each other of Kazakhstani and other scientists that working around the globe. And second one, we have pretty good collaboration with Kazakhstani scientists as well. So some of our members, Murat Saparbayev, Janibek Alpeshev, Serk Mirmanov, is the members of Akorda Palace. They're providing expertise to our presidential chair, let's say. And Minister Saysat Nurbek has been established very good tradition. He's coming every year to listen to Kazakhstani scientists abroad and provide some updates what's happening in Kazakhstan. And other than that, we found that a lot of our colleagues abroad have a struggling of finding position in Kazakhstan. So we established this Kazakhstan University Transformation Series, where we're inviting presidents and leaders of Kazakhstan University actually to share academic positions, potential collaboration opportunities. And last one, we are partners with Bolashak. So as I said, we have our established professors working in different leading institutions around the globe. And we've been connecting Kazakhstani local scientists to foreign Kazakhstani science professors that working. And so far, we've been conducting more than 20 interviews with Kazakhstani local scientists in order to get to this Nottingham University, University of Reading, University of Calgary, actually working with Kazakhstani professors. And so far, not only that, we also working with the young generation. It's high school students, 9 to 11 degree also. So our member from Finland, PhD Askar, he's a former national Olympiad team manager. So he organizing this event. So far doing good. Today we just finished first lecture. Yeah. If you're interested, just let us know. And last one, yeah, we're also trying to not only do these events online, but offline. So in the summer this year, we organized a summer retreat in Bavaria, invited PhDs, postdoc professors that working here in Europe. If you're interested, please, you can contact to us and connect next year. And recently, last week, we had this Kazakh Connect. This is Kazakh-Swiss Association, Berluk in Switzerland. They organized very, very interesting event where they invited professionals that working in this leading industrial organization in Europe. And I went as a member of our association and introduced what we're doing here. and it was a pretty good event. So if you're interested, they're organizing it every year. And also we have this science latte thing. It's like informal, our members talking, discussion, different topics. And if you're interested, we're having it every month. With that, just a very quick announcement for next events. So this month we also have Professor Ayjan Tursunbayeva from Italy. She's associate professor at Naples University. So she will deliver a talk on AI-driven human resource management. If you're interested, please join us. And next month on December 7, we have Sanjar Taijan. He's the CEO of Taisan company, and that will be also very much tech talk. And plus one, we have Professor Serik Tokpolat from Nottingham University. He will deliver a talk about construction field. With that, shortly, very thank you for our partners, for our funding resources, Alum Project that supporting us and providing. So our association not taking any fees from PhDs because we know it's very hard to survive, but how you can pay for this, and also collaborating with Narcos University and QIST University in Kazakhstan. And last, please go ahead and become a member, so you will be in our mailing list, and we'll receive all this information of upcoming events. And our strategical vision is not only being a Kazakhstani association, but Global Central Asian Science and Technology Association, inviting our colleague Uzbek professors, Kyrgyz professors that working in different countries. Yeah. So with that, I want to close. And if you have any questions later, you can ask. I want to introduce here our guest. Give me 1 minute. So today we have Nurlybek Mursali. So Nurlybek, if you have slides, you can share. Before that, I will properly introduce yourself. So guys, you may think, consider before how you can turn your research idea during your PhD and successful be a tech startup. Or what does it take to raise a funding and a scale of Silicon Valley? Or how can you, with your PhD background, shape entrepreneurship journey? So today we have Dr. Nurlybek Mursali. He will share his inspiring path from a Stanford PhD student to launching AI-powered biotech company. He will talk about his heights and lows of fundraising, including how his team secured half of their investment round on just 1 day. And also he will tell us what's like about going through this Y Combinator. He will also discuss the future of Biodock and what makes Stanford such a unique place to entrepreneur. Plus, Dr. Mursali will open up about the lessons that he learned and historical figures that who is inspired actually him on this way. So with that, thank you very much, Nurlybek, for joining today. Really appreciate, and floor is yours.
Great. Thank you, Galjan, for this quick intro, and thank you for the organization for this invitation. And I'm great to be here and be part of this journey that you guys building for Kazakh and Central Asian PhD scientists. I think it's been due for a while, and there are a lot of great scientists globally who represent our region. And obviously you had invited quite a few of them into your panel here, and one of them I saw Shohrat Mutalipov. He was one of my, I guess, like heroes when I was doing my PhD work, and the reason I know about him was because I did a lot of embryonic development at Stanford. I was working, so I'm just gonna jump right in to like my intro. Yeah, my name is Nurlybek Mursali. I have a PhD from Stanford University, and I'm currently founder and CEO of Biodock. From what I heard, I'm maybe like a third Kazakh who has a PhD from Stanford. The first one, or at least someone who acknowledged they're from Kazakhstan. Maybe there are other people who graduated but never claimed they're from Kazakhstan. That happens. Janibek Alpashev was the first one. The second one was Davlet Askarov. He's in Silicon Valley. And I was essentially like a third guy. And yeah, so early on during my PhD studies at Stanford, I did like the good thing about like PhD work, at least in our department of biology, you can pick like in your first year whatever you want to do. You don't have to pick one lab and just stay there for 5, 6 years. They allow you to rotate, and I chose essentially like very, very different areas of research. Um, I actually started as like a plant biologist. I did a lot of like I don't know if there are any plant biologists here. Like I did research about like Arabidopsis thaliana, looking at some of their genes. But then I moved into from plant biology to embryonic development in mammals. And from there, as you guys can see, I jumped into like entrepreneurship. Um, and the reason, I know about Shohrad Muttalib was the lab I was working on at Stanford. They knew about Shohrad Muttalib, and when I told them, "Hey, I'm from Kazakhstan," they were like, "Yeah, really? Like, we know Shohrad, and he's like the top guy in the field of embryology and stem cell research. He was like the first guy who did a lot of work on human embryonic stem cells. So that's very, very I think a great thing to hear about your country. And yeah, and so that's how I knew about him. So as I already told you guys, I did a lot of embryonic development work. I was looking at obesity effect on early embryonic development, like maternal obesity, and was trying to kind of create a way to select the best embryos for um, um, IVF applications, because my lab at Stanford was doing a lot of human embryonic development as well. But I was focused on like a mouse, because I didn't want to go right into like human embryos right away. So I did a lot of fertility and metabolism, embryonic research in the beginning. I also did other work, including organ growing like human organs in large animals. So we did a lot of like CRISPR screening. This was like early days of CRISPR technology back in like 14 and 15. So it was very, very like hyped, and we did a lot of CRISPR work for sheep embryos, and we were able to publish a paper about it as well, showing that we can remove certain organs from sheep embryos, and potentially we can grow human embryos on that fetuses as well using stem cells. So back then, I guess like it was very interesting times where it was like early years of like induced pluripotent stem cells as well, and there was also CRISPR technology coming up, and there was a lot of hope in creating like human organs in different ways, including growing human organs in large animals. Now the research has been progress, and they're working on like primates and other animals, but the technology is very, very interesting. And I also did a lot of work on other aspects like genomics, and I collaborated with other labs who were coming up with new technologies as well at Stanford, which was a great experience for me. But at the end, obviously I had to focus on one topic. for my PhD and focused on essentially like effects of maternal obesity on embryonic pre-implantation embryo development. Yeah, so that's how I wrapped up my thesis work. And then when I come to, I guess, like my entrepreneurship experience at Stanford, I think like starting from, I guess, like my first year, I was like invited, or I guess like I was pulled into one of the projects done by Stanford bioengineering postdocs who were, who came up with a kind of a way of measuring eye pressure using microfluidic lenses. And I was, one of the founders who created a company based on that technology in my actually first year. So that's how I actually got introduced into entrepreneurship. But obviously, um, uh, originally coming to Stanford for my PhD program, I couldn't invest too much time on that. So after like a year, I went back and essentially I had to focus on my PhD work as well. But entrepreneurship never escaped my mind, so I always had thoughts about it. And I guess like Stanford is one of the I guess like rare places where it kind of easy to sucked into like entrepreneurship world because first of all it's like a center of like technology and a lot of companies started in Silicon Valley, and then Stanford is like smack in the middle of all of it, and there's a lot of, I guess, like Stanford founders as well. And actually my PI he also created his own company, and then a bunch of other professors as well have their own companies based on their technology they developed at Stanford. And another like great thing about Stanford was they're pretty liberal about like giving permissions to companies to use their technology developed at Stanford. Maybe it has changed in other universities, but I've heard a lot of like venture capitalists talking about it and like acknowledging that it's very easy to work with Stanford, technology office to license the technology developed at Stanford. So one of them, in one of the courses I took at Stanford, they were talking about like which IP, I guess, developed at Stanford um, had largest dividends for Stanford, and one of them is like Google, and another like the top one, at least like when I was doing my PhD there, the top one was like a monoclonal antibody developed at Stanford. I think it was like more than $1 billion or something that they paid out. Google probably was like 300 million or something. So it's a very substantial amount that Stanford actually earns from these technologies they developed at Stanford. And then I think very important one is actually they don't, so their main goal isn't actually making money. For example, with Google or some other technologies, they could have just kept the IP and just keep earning, but they understand how, I guess, like starting a company works, or how corporate world works. Essentially, if you stuck with like paying out to large institutions for a long time, maybe like investors won't be interested, so they just give away the rights, and obviously it's case by case, but I think Stanford is one of the exceptional places if you want to start a company, and then that's why a lot of professors as well start their own companies. And having, I guess, like thought about entrepreneurship, I did programs at Stanford Business School as well, Graduate School of Business, and I think I learned a lot of stuff from like finance and business world, and as a scientist, you never actually you almost never get exposed to that kind of stuff. So it was a great perspective for me as well. And toward the end of my PhD program, I decided to work on the current company that I'm still working on. Let's see if I go to the next. So the company that I founded is Biodock. It's a cloud AI analysis platform for bio R&D. So our essentially clients are these R&D labs that are working on a lot of imaging and image analysis projects, and it's notoriously slow and expensive, and we empower these labs, to design and implement these custom models without any, coding and infrastructure set up for their precision analysis and being able to like analyze at scale, and at the end, obviously, to generate very important insights to move forward with their R&D efforts. And yeah, so we have thousands and thousands of labs globally, and we have academic institutions and then large pharma companies as well. And we've been, invested by Andreessen Horowitz, and we were part of Y Combinator as well. So, for example, like if you're interested in like identifying certain cells or structures, you can create a model that does it for you with thousands of X of like human speed, and then get like the quantitative results that you want very quickly. So this is just a quick video demo that I have. So you can like create a model that can analyze different tissues. In this case, we have this large tissue section, and the model identifies certain objects, and you can look at the images, and you can get the like quantitative measurements for each image, and you can have hundreds and thousands of these at a time. And also, like if you're an academic lab working on any kind of similar projects, you can actually create an academic account, and actually train your own models using your data sets. Cool. I think that's all I have for my presentation. Yeah, we can always connect on LinkedIn, and Golemjan also has have my contacts, and we can also communicate through other channels as well. Are you muted?
Yeah, Nurlybek, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Nurlybek Ahmed, amazing, very short presentation, just to the point. And just to say, guys, if you please support Nurlybek's company, if your colleagues or your lab, we will also send to our members interested in this kind of product. I think it's a lot of companies already has been using, and I think we need to support our Kazakh fellows. And so far, please let's go to Q&A session. I think
I see some questions.
Yeah, Sakinara from UCLA. I'm not sure. Yeah, Sakinara, if it's you can go ahead and Ulkin guesses. If it is, if not, so Sakinara. Yeah, Sakinara. Okay, we are from West Coast. Sakinara, kalaysın.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you, guys. It's a great talk, dude.
Well, it's very early in LA right now.
It's extremely early, yeah.
Thanks for joining.
Hey, can you tell?
I hope it was worth it.
Yeah, no,
I hope you're not disappointed.
No, it's all good. Right.
I can show something and maybe make it more entertaining.
No, it's pretty interesting, right? And it's great to hear that our friend, our colleagues and friends and compatriots, so everybody's opening up the companies. Can you tell more about the initial funding? Like we do have a startup from ours, which was from our lab, and I'm one of the founders, which is a little bit different story, right? Like as I said, bio R&D, right, or anything in the biotechnology R&D, it's the runway is pretty long. It has to be very long, right? And
Right,
it
right,
takes a
right.
long
Exactly.
time, and that's
Yeah,
many
yeah.
people are not willing to invest. Whereas yours is a little bit different, right? You're still working on the
That's actually a very
development.
good question.
Yeah. Just to talk about how the funding started out and how the interest. Obviously, you do have a unique environment in the world, being in Stanford, right, and having all the interest, right? Everybody fearing of missing out. Whereas, like in Southern California, it's completely different, and it took us a long time to basically go from one end to another.
Yeah, yeah, first of all, yeah, I know a lot of, founders who start companies in, UCLA and from, Southern California, and most of them go to, I guess, like Silicon Valley to get funding and work, maybe join different like incubators and accelerators. I think that's like the great thing to get started with. And I think I tell everyone essentially to, if you want to, start a company, I guess it's better just to move to Silicon Valley or like have some sort of presence, like, because I think I believe I believe actually that there is no other place like Silicon Valley for entrepreneurship. And it's maybe like 10 times easier and better to fundraise and get support. Even maybe find employees there who know what startup is and entrepreneurship is. They're willing to join the startup rather than go to like large high tech firms or maybe even like large pharma companies, and they're willing to take risks, right? So in that sense, I think that's very great. And from my experience, like in at Stanford, I did a lot of work that could be actually turned into like some sort of startup. Biodock is an exception because it actually wasn't necessarily developed at Stanford, but the ideas were like we've seen a lot of I guess like bottlenecks in data analysis in general, and that's I think I have been through. That's why it was kind of easier for us to move into this space, helping scientists with their image analysis. And then, for, but I had other projects that I said which can be turned into like maybe therapeutics or diagnostics. I know like therapeutics, it's even longer, period to actually have some sort of product. Diagnostics may be a little bit faster, but still you need to invest a lot of money as well. Um, so my idea in the beginning was I wanted to stay away from that and start a company in software, because I could just create a product that I can sell, um, and get investors' interest as well, easier. Um, so I also thought about it in that sense. And if you have like a pure, you know, company purely in deep tech and biology, obviously, a lot of investors will be hesitant, I guess, and shy away from that kind of risks. But also, I think like in Silicon Valley, there's a higher chance, I guess, to find those investors. So that's why it's better to have some sort of presence in Silicon Valley. And yeah, I would love to learn more about your technology, and maybe we can connect even afterwards to see um, um, if there's anything else we can talk about, I guess, beyond the current format.
Yeah, I'm absolutely, but I'm still staying in the like I'm not in the biotech space anymore. I do have the founder share, so mostly like I'm still staying in the sciences. I'm changing the gears, which brings me now to this question, right? That's more practical, right? So for anything that you're doing a high throughput image data, right? What is the lowest image limitation that you guys doing? Or are you guys training anything? Is this only like immunofluorescence screening, like histology, or are you guys going lower than like cryo-EM?
Any images actually. We don't have cryo-EM, but we have a lot of PEM and other electron microscopy images, histopathology, fluorescent microscopy, confocal. Um, any image you have, you can train a model and get like a model that identify these object cells and give you like quantitative results. So that's the value we're bringing, like rather than spending a lot of like scientists hours developing some sort of analysis workflow, just train an AI, get things done and move on with your life, I guess.
All right, dude. Great talk, dude. I'll let the other people speak.
We're letting people move on with their research.
A second question, Jambulat from Hungary, I guess. Jambulat, go ahead. You can unmute yourself and ask your question.
All right. Thank you so much for this opportunity to questions. And yeah, I have seen a number of interviews with you, with Nurlybek as well, with Arman Suleymanov. And my question is, do you see that Biodock eventually become a public company in the future?
So that's the idea, and that's the hope. And definitely, you know, we want to achieve that. I cannot tell you when that's gonna be, but that's our eventual goal. And there's a lot of work needs to be done to get there.
All right. Okay. And who are your target customers now, such as academic labs, biotech companies, pharma?
Yeah. So our target companies are you know, pharmaceutical and biotech labs, and we also work with academic labs, even though we provide the accounts for free for them. But if they want to go beyond like academic kind of limits, they can engage similar to enterprise, but a lot, I guess, like discounted prices.
Great. And about large language models, which are transforming the scientific data analyzed, and the whole of this work is automated nowadays. And in your view, how do you see LLMs influence or enhance Biodock's AS platform and in the future or in nowadays?
Yeah, so actually right now we already implementing large language models in enhancing our product. One of them is using like LLMs to actually help the users with picking the AI analysis models and then evaluating the images without even like users training anything. So, and we want to be in a place where in the future where you just upload your data to Biodock and it will tell you what it is and then give you results without you even like trying to do anything. Yeah. So we're implementing LLMs for sure.
Okay, nice. And how do you assume that in that stage of venture capital are your companies in early stage or
yeah, we're definitely early stage, and we're definitely early stage. We raised our, I guess, like pre-seed, you can say, totaling like 3.8 million, and I think we are focusing on sales and working on the product, and right now we haven't raised yet after that, so but definitely there's gonna be like following fundraising as well, as as true for any other companies, startups.
Yeah, great. Because I'm coming from Europe, actually for us it's different. I mean, the venture capital thing is more like American. In Europe, it's called like a risk management.
Yeah. So one of the questions I believe
minimizing risks.
Exactly. Yeah. So one of the questions I think Hamzan sent me was about like books, I guess, that inspired me. I guess like I can say like there's a book called like VC, I believe, VC American Story. So you write the VC is actually an American invention, and like I think it's just embedded in like American culture to just risk everything and just go for it. And
Yes.
like in that book actually it compared like in the beginning it compares like VC to like sperm whale hunting and um before like oil was discovered, I guess, like on mainstream, they were
Yes.
using like sperm whale oil to light up like candles or like light up their streets and homes. And like the book said essentially like compares it, and then it said like there are certain teams who go and maybe like um, get a lot of like there's certain teams that are more successful than the others. So a lot of actually investors give money to that one or two captains to hunt, and it was very similar to like VCs, where it's highly risky, and you need to find your I guess like captains.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
These
Rahmet
were my
yeah.
questions. Thank you so much. Rahmet,
Yeah,
you can.
if anyone has a question, please go ahead in Kazakh and English, how you feel comfortable. Yeah, exactly, Enrique. I think after 2 wars in Europe, we don't want to risk here. Okay, Oljan, go ahead, please. Oljan from Norway. Yeah.
Саламатсыз ба?
Саламатсыз ба?
Презентация үшін көп рахмет. Өте motivational. Мен үшін өте motivational. Бүйтіп қоссам. Иә, мен үшін өте motivational. Менде осындай сұрақ. PhD, how did or how is PhD studies was helpful for you or in your entrepreneurship journey? What PhD skills or projects would you suggest, would you advise to focus on? So basically the question is, how was PhD studies helpful, and in what way did it facilitate your entrepreneurship journey? Thanks.
What is your background? What are you studying, I guess?
Right now I work in
Yeah.
electronics in semiconductor industry.
Nice.
I did my master's, both
Maybe you should
bachelor's.
stay in semiconductors.
Yeah, that was my thought as well, but there's like options like to stay in the industry as an employee or to try to start your own startup. And
I
also
think
I
like
considered PhD studies maybe, but for me, I wanted to PhD studies to enhance my knowledge and
Yeah.
then go to be founder. So, and I was thinking the reason I joined this session is like your journey looks like very inspirational for me, but you just do it in a different field. Therefore, I'm asking this question from you. Thanks.
I think I believe like someone asked like Elon Musk about like what's like, can you give me like motivation to be like entrepreneur? And he says like, if you need a motivation, just don't do it. I feel like it can be applied to actually PhD as well. Like if someone comes to me, asks, I don't know, like maybe there are other PhDs here. I'm sure most of us doing PhD and did PhD. And the way I felt was like, if you ask questions about whether you should do a PhD, maybe you shouldn't do PhD, but everyone should find their own like reasons. Because like I guess like in PhD, it's not easy, and it's like you're just working on something that no one worked before, and like no one knows what the hell is happening, and like you just have to come up with ways to make your science make sense. And like it's actually pretty similar to like entrepreneurship. Like I know in the beginning of my journey, like I was talking to one founder, and I asked her like, I was just talking about my product and like Biodock, and I'm trying to actually see if we can work together. And she was like why are you working on this? And like why do like it's you shouldn't just start a company. Why don't you just go to the industry? I was like, I didn't even want to listen to that discussion, because for me, it was like, I have to do this. I don't care what anyone tells me, anything. Like if they tell me it's gonna fail, okay, like I'm gonna try and fail. So that's what's gonna happen. And for me, like no one could convince me otherwise not to do this. So that was my situation, and it was similar to my PhD program. Like people will tell me like, hey, you studying biology, like who's gonna like employ you in Kazakhstan? Is it even useful in Kazakhstan? Like that kind of question like doesn't matter, right? Like I mean, I think it's just, people are coming from their own perspective, but I feel like you just have to know it yourself, your journey. For me, that was the thing, and then I wanted to do biology. That's what I'm gonna do. That's it. and I wanted to start a company, and I did. Even if I fail, I'll be content. At least I can tell myself, I tried, I failed. And when I'm like 90, I can tell myself what do I regret? And I can say, I guess like I should have less regrets when I'm like, if I ever reach 90. But and then I can tell myself I tried, I failed. That's it. And I think like if you think about your life like that, you can maybe make decisions easier, I guess. But I think like your field is definitely need a PhD, I feel like, right? And if you really want to maybe succeed doing like semiconductors, I think it makes sense to do, PhD. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy it because this is a time for, I think, semiconductors, and we've seen what, Jensen Huang did with NVIDIA, and when he was working on their product, no one liked what they were doing. Like they were saying, what is this? Like, what, and then at the end, it was the thing that actually drives AI. And yeah, if he stopped working on his, product, like semiconductors, maybe we wouldn't have like this AI boom that we're experiencing now.
I also wanted to ask, like, what facilitated you in your PhD studies and was useful in entrepreneurship, in your opinion?
What facilitated in my PhD studies? I think just hard work. Going to lab at 3 a.m. And I had also my first child when I was like my third year or something. So my son was born when I was in the lab doing experiments. Good thing like Stanford has like a medical school, and I was working in a medical school, so the hospital was like just walk away, and my wife was actually with me that day when I was doing experiments, and we went to hospital. They said go walk, and we walked, but we came back to the lab, did some experiment, and afterwards we went back to the hospital. Like no one does it. Like who in their mind would do this? But it just, if you reason, there is no reason to do that. Like you cannot justify that. But if you want to do something, you should do it.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So we have last 5 minutes, guys. If you have any question, please let me know. If not, I have my own question. Okay, Drakia, as Uncle Huang said, yeah, starting company is one of the craziest thing and one of the hardest thing in the world. So here we have a lot of PhDs and some other people that thinking of PhD. And what do you recommend? So after going all this pathway of Stanford PhD, what do you recommend to scientists? Because as far as I know, a lot of scientists, they're just looking for their work and they're just doing their research. and they're not often thinking about pain points. Okay, let's take this pain point and transfer it as you did on your PhD and sell as a product, because other people also doing the same thing, but you're essentially solving the problem. And what's your, my question is, what's your recommendation to other PhDs in order to get this, let's say, venture mindset? Yeah, thank you.
I think I feel like it might be like personal, because I know some like recent graduates I know who are actually doing very cool stuff that can be easily turned into a company, but they went to like academic route. They, you know, accepted like a professorship. You probably know them. That person, for example, didn't start a company, right? But he could start a company. He could have started a company, but he didn't. And good for him. Like he knows what he's doing. That's great, right? I think that it boils down to like how, like, if you are interested in like talking to people, like trying to sell your product or be like more entrepreneurship, maybe you should try that. But for some people, it's just, you know, it doesn't click and they're not interested. Maybe they can just give their technology to someone to develop as a startup and just keep your equity, and that way you have something to show for what you have built in academia, and maybe that person will make it like a company. That's a route a lot of professors do, because like they don't necessarily gonna be full-time working on their company. They just give blessings to the entrepreneurs, and then they go their separate way. They keep their equity, and if it sells for millions and billions, they'll have something. And I remember like at Stanford, when I was like, I guess like my fourth year before I started my company, like a lab on top of us on the third floor, like the professor whose technology it was based on, he wasn't like doing this full time. Obviously, he just raised different science, and then people started companies like therapeutics companies, and they sold it for like $4.6 billion. And I was like in a lab meeting, and it was like announced that day, and they were like on my third floor, and it was like crazy to see. Like now he's like at least like 100+ million. He earned like that in that event, and he still is a professor, and he's one of the greatest, and immunologist essentially. And he didn't start his own company. He just lets others do it. So it's like it can be both ways. If you have a technology that you think can be useful, just find someone more like entrepreneurial and help them make it some sort of company. And one thing that I learned from Stanford, definitely, like, don't try to hide your technology or something. Obviously, you know, if it needs to patent it, you can just patent it and then apply for like provisional patent. But like, if someone wants to work with you, just let them use it and do some sort of product, because I can tell you, like, working on startup isn't easy, and it's like it gets complicated like very quickly. So it's better that someone else does it if you're not like interested in that kind of stuff, but you can still help like community and the world with your technology.
Amazing, Rick. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I think you're right. Like most of the personalities in academia, it's sometimes, okay, of course, we cannot say that they're not suited for entrepreneurship. It's just a skill. But yeah, it makes sense to collaborate with someone that's really into this. I think it's Ilyas Tribulaev doing great. Like he's a professor, but a lot of things of this publishing, Alex Dunn doing actually. And yeah, and I think for today's session, maybe last one. So from Ilyas Tribulaev's book, and I think often reading his text on LinkedIn, and he often comparing these founders with PhD and without PhD. What's your feeling like? I think you already met a lot of founders, and some of them has a PhD, some of them not. And what's the difference? Is it a big difference of having a PhD mindset and this resilience training and not having it? Thank you.
Yeah, I think like first of all, like the story about like dropouts is just, you know, it's not true. Like people say, hey, Zuckerberg didn't go to college, like he didn't finish his college degree and he's now billionaires. Like that's exceptional. Most of the founders actually either have PhDs or like MBAs, or at least like bachelors. So having PhD definitely helps. You know, you essentially show to people that you can work on something for sometimes 7 years, unfortunately. and and people trust that it has a weight, and then you know how to work, and you know, like the story about like Theranos, right? What's her name? Her name, Elizabeth Holmes, right? You know, I think from the beginning I was skeptical because she didn't have like a PhD. Because how a non-PhD person is developing such technology, right? And I know obviously from you know my academic experience, like, you know, it's hard to develop something like this because I personally also I work in like microscopic levels, and I know how difficult it is to work. Like I tried to like get like a you know DNA material from embryos, right? Like, and I had to split embryo into like different cells, and it was terrible. And like trying to get a like material from like microscopic level is not easy. And every, I guess, like PhD would know that, and I feel like that was the, I guess, tragedy for that startup, like not having a PhD founder.
I see. Thank you, Nurikia. Rahmet Ulken. So guys, we're wrapping up. So with that, do anyone has a question? I think no. So thanks everyone for joining. Nurikia, it was amazing talk. I think we learned a lot from you, and I think for our scientific community of PhDs that doing their work around the globe, it's very important to at least have this mindset. And sometimes you find this pain point in your lab when you're doing your experiment, and you try to solve it and provide it, because you are not first and you are not last. Other people doing the same thing. And today, Nurlybek appreciated opened this way of thinking, how scientists can think differently and change this mindset to venture mindset, as you said. And yeah, guys, if you have any questions, please directly reach to me or others or Nurlybek. So with that, our association, we're trying to nurture future leaders of industry and academia. So we're doing this event, inviting amazing speakers. And if you have other speakers you want to recommend, please reach to me. So with that, thank you very much, Nurlybek. Rahmet Nurikia, Kerimet event.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, you can connect me in LinkedIn. Just maybe like put a note that you were in this session, and so I know who it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Rahmet Nurikia.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Sağ olun.